Good morning, folks. Yesterday we were completing this 2.16 exercise, and today we will complete this all the exercises. And let's see, then we will see what we can do next. So let's do this. Okay. Phone book step 12. Open your application in two browsers. Okay, let me do that. Uh, I opened it and also open console log. Okay. Hmm. Now this looks good. Now, though, if you delete a person in a browser 1, a short while before attempting to change the person's phone number in browser 2, you will get the following error message. For not found. So let's say if I remove devkp at this browser, so here, if I try to remove this devkp, I'm not reloading currently, okay? So when I delete, I get this error. Okay, fix this issue. Uh, Fix this issue according to the example shown in promise and errors in part 2. Okay. Let me see how we did that. Concat therefore should be handle the steps of registration gracefully. Mm, 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 mm. Modify the example so that the user is shown a message when the operation does not succeed. The message shown for successful and unsuccessful events look different. Yeah. Okay, so let me first delete this, and again let me add that devkp. So if I just for a bit, let's say from those, when I add, I do get this message and it disappeared after 3 seconds, right? Okay. Let's see. uh, what they want to do is, if any kind of error occurred, then perform inside this performance form. What I can say is, after that I can have catch. Inside that catch I will have error, and inside that I will have set notification set to message is already deleted from the server, or server. Yeah, that should do the job. Type should be failure. No, failure, but they said error in small letter. And should I be returning error? No, I guess not. And let's see, if I am creating a person, then I have my error here. When I'm adding a number, when adding a number, I have my error here. Let's say when I'm showing the then I think it should be fine now. Let's reload this, and let's do again. Let me again delete these cantos. Okay, it is deleted, but it's still showing here. So let me small it a bit. I'm gonna try to delete it. Do you want to delete this? Person is already deleted from the server. No, this looks good. This looks good. Okay, so let me comment this out. Handle error gracefully. Okay, let's see what is the next part. We had previously mentioned that a promise can be in one of the three different states. When an excuse HTTP request fails, the associated promise is rejected. Our current code does not handle this rejection in any way. The rejection of a promise is handled by providing the then method with a second callback function, which is called in the situation where the promise is rejected. The more common way of adding a handler for rejected promises is to use catch method. In practice, the error handler for rejected promises is defined like this. Yep, that is exactly what we did just now. If the request fails, the event handler registered with the catch method gets called. The catch method is often utilized by placing it deeper within the promise chain. When multiple .then methods are chained together, in fact, that is what we call a promise chaining. The catch method can be used to define a handler function at the end of a promise chain, which is called once any promise is the chain throws an error and the promise becomes rejected. Axios. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, we have multiple then handler, and w- we have a catch handler here. Let's take advantage of this feature. We will place our application's error handler in the app component. Okay. The error message is displayed to the user with the trusty old alert dialog pop-up, and the deleted nodes get filtered out from the state. Removing an already deleted node from the application state is done with the array filter method, which returns a new array comprising only the items from the list for which the function that was passed as a parameter returns true for. Mm. It's probably it's probably not a good idea to use alert in more serious React application. We will soon learn a more advanced way of displaying messages and notifications to users. There are situations, however, where a simple battle-tested method like alert can function as a starting point. A more advanced method could always be added in later, given that there is a time and energy for it. Okay, okay, let's move to the exercise section. Phone book. Let's return our phone. The numbers are I guess I have done the job already, so I can say I successfully completed these exercises. 12 important remarks. Wait, I was reading this one, right? No, damn, I was reading in this. I thought I am doing something wrong. Let's go through this. Couple of important remarks. At the end of this part, there are few more challenging exercises. At this stage, you can skip the exercise if there are too much of a headache. We will come back to the same themes again later. The material is worth reading through in any case. We have done one thing in our application, that is masking away a very difficult source of error. We set the state nodes to have initial value of an empty array. This is pretty natural initial value since the nodes are set. That is, there are many nodes that the state will store. If the state were only saving one thing, a more appropriate initial value would be null, denoting that there is nothing in the state at the start. Let's see what happens if we use this initial value. The app breaks down. The error message gives the reason and location for the error. The code that caused the problem is the following map file. So this comes as undefined, then map cannot be like iterate over something called undefined, right? The variable nodes to is first assigned the value of the state nodes, and then the code tries to call method map to a non-existing object. This is to null. What is the reason for that? The effect hook uses the function set nodes. So if I have to write something like this, so basically it will be like if we set, if let's say if we do something like this, null value, then later the value will be like this. So this line will give error. This line will give error, particularly this line. Okay. The variable nodes to show is okay. The effect. What is the reason for that? The effect uses the function set to set nodes to have the nodes that the backend is returning. Yep, that is the actually main part because we cannot just use null or undefined value inside the initial state because we do are getting the data from the server, and for that we have to first initialize as an empty, so the data that can coming from the server can take its place and replace it later when our UI is rendering. Here, as you see, we are actually updating the set nodes variable with an initial nodes. However, the problem is that the effect is executed only after the first render, and because nodes has the initial value of null on the first render, the following code gets executed. And this blows up the application since we cannot call method map of the value null. When we set nodes to be initially an empty array, there is no error since it is allowed to call map to an empty array. So the initialization of the state masks the problem that is caused by the fact that the data is not yet fetched from the backend. Another way to circumvent the problem is to use conditional rendering and return null if the component state is not properly initialized. Const app is null if not. Mhm. So on the first render, nothing is rendered. When the nodes arrive from the backend, the effect used function set nodes to set the value of the state nodes. This causes the component to be rendered again, and at the second render, the nodes get rendered to the screen. The method based on conditional rendering is suitable in cases where it is impossible to define the state so that the initial rendering is possible. The other thing that we will need to have a closer look at this is the second parameter of the use effect, which is this empty array. The second parameter of use effect is used to specify how often the effect is gonna run. The the principle is that the effect is always executed after the first render of the component and when the value of the second parameter changes. If the second parameter is an empty array, which is this, its content never changes and the effect is only run after the first render of the component. This is exactly what we want when we are initializing the application state from the server. However, there are situations where we want to perform the effect at other times. For example, when the state of the component changes in a particular way. Consider the following a simple application for querying currency exchange rates from the exchange rate API. Hmm. Okay, so I comment all the code and now I build this. Let me see. Currency, let's say INR. Well. Would you look at that? Effective run is currency is now null. Effective run now currency is INR. So the initial render run and the value is this value is this. So now if I enter USD, okay. Mm, let's see 96.64, 160 Japanese yen. Uh, let's say Pakistani rupees. Then is there anything? Mm, okay. Mm, so here what they are doing is inside the use effect, first value of the currency they are passing as the initial value as null. So it will gonna take the value as null. If currency found fetching exchange rate XUs. Okay. Mm. So if they do use something like this, then that this will be little beautiful. Mm. Okay, okay, understood. The users because uh, the initial value was null. When I used USD, then it ran again. When I used INR, it ran again. The application sets the name of the currency entered to the form to the state currency at the moment the button is pressed. When the currency gets a new value, the application fetches its exchange rates from API in the effect function, which is this. So they want me to. So generally, what does that mean? Is that they want to run use effect every time the currency is changing, right? So data fetch. The use effect hook now has a currency as a second parameter. The effect function is therefore executed after the first render and always after the dependency array as its second parameter currency changes. That is, when the state currency gets a new value, the content of the dependency array changes and the effect function is executed. It is natural to choose null as the initial value for the very currency because currency represents a single item. The initial value null indicates that there is nothing in the state yet, and it is also easy to check with a simple if statement whether a value has been assigned to the variable. The effect has the following condition. which prevents requesting the exchange rate just after the first render when the variable currency still has the initial value and that is a null value. So if a user writes, let's say a European UR in the search field, the application uses Axios to perform an HTTP GET request to this address and stores the response in the rate state. When the user then enters another value in search field like USD, the effect function is executed again and the exchange rates of the new currency are requested from the API. The way presented here for making API request might seem a bit awkward. This particular application could have been made completely without using useEffect by making the API request directly in the form submit handler function. However, there are situations where that technique would not work. Example, you might encounter one such situation in the exercise 2.20 where the use of use effect could provide a solution. Note that this depends on quite much on the approach you selected, and that is the model solution does not use the trick. Okay, let's see data for countries. At this, you can find a service that offers a lot of information related to different countries in a so-called machine readable format via the REST API, making an application that allows you to view information from different countries. Okay, so before that, let me get back to how my application state were and see. I will check out the phone book, and inside that, what I will do is just pull origin main. No, this looks good. Now I will check out my main. And the user interface is very simple. The country to be shown is found by typing a search query into the search field. If there are too many over 10 countries that matches the query, then the user is prompted to make their query more specific. So let's see. Okay, so let's see. The user interface is if there are too many over 10 countries that matches the query, then the user is prompted to make their query more specific. Okay, this exercise looks good. Tada, tada, copy link. So, let me actually revert back and let me paste this. This one, right? So, inside this, what they want to do is, bam, I'll have this, and what I will do is countries, country. And what I will do is currently, let's say, set country here. if country found, what I would like to do is, before that, actually, I would like to console log the response data, and I do not want to like currently use any kind of here. Probably I will use set country to response dot data. So just in case I am writing this, and let's see what did I get. It's null. I'll say Sweden, India, array, set currency, say India, exchange rates. Okay. Uh, let's say hmm, search by conditional name. It can be common or official value. API name. So list countries. Okay. So they want me to do something like this. API, the name, and this. Okay, let's see. Now it should work. Okay, I got the data. Man, just look at the data. Mm-hmm. Republic of India. Native name, flag, science, array, side left. So this is the data that I'm getting right now. Country information. Wait a minute. I don't think I need a services or something. So for that, I will remove this. And I'm not using any kind of component, so let me remove this as well. Oh, unnecessary files. Huh. Okay. Let's see. I am getting the name of the country in the console log, and what they want me to do is, if the result come as too many, let's say if I just simply search as, why, set initial value. Let's see, let me do this again. Finland, let's say, okay. Mm. Uh, this interface is very simple. The country to be shown is found by typing a search query. There are too many, like over 10 queries that matches the query. Then the user is prompted to make their query more specific. Too many matches specify another filter. There are 10 or fewer countries, but more than one, then all countries matching the query are shown. When there is only one country matching the query, then the basic data of the country, like capital and area, its flag and language tokens are shown. So basically, if country is found inside the on search, how they want me to do is like hmm, hmm, on search because on submit search event for set country to value if the say this is useless. So let me clear this. Mm. Okay. What I am missing here? What am I missing? Let's say inside. So they want me to call the API when I'm just on change. It is not defined. Okay, if I type India, initial value is showing as a country null, which shouldn't be showing right. Um, let's see. Doing API all common name dot common. So let's say inside my own search and search, what I would like to do is I'm setting the value, set country to the value, and inside the if country is found, let's see, I would like to remove this. I can remove this as well. Say India. Okay, so on submit, what is happening is when I click, page is reloading. Country. Uh, I have an input value, and let's see forward document. Wait. So inside this, if I write India, mhm, then then rather than this API, let's say if I use here all and see, this is what the initial. Even if I this and click, if I say India, hmm, so it will be on submit. Okay, okay, it is still get called. This is not good. Mm, what am I missing here? So what exactly I need is so they want me to like do search here. Let's see if I even write something like this, then the API should be called with the API name of the country, name of the country. Mm. Sorry for the disturbance. If I write India, then but then again, let's see if I do this on submit, and then they should be giving me this information here, right? Mm, that is where the issue is because, as per the images, if I let's say if I can do something like this, if I can have multiple use effect, right? Use effect inside that I will first call axios dot get, and inside that I will have what the hell happened? This open. Okay, inside this I will have API all, and this will be this will be called only one time. That then what I will do is I will put the response inside the, let's say, let's say, do I have to create any kind of console log response and data to do, where should I store this data, because I would like to use this existing data to show the feature working. Then what I will do is just traverse that through, and I think I can let's say on an empty element. So I would like to just like do this when the use vector is run first time. So so let's see. Do I even need something like this? Country name, country name. Provided, then I can do fetch the country's data directly, and if not, then all I have to do is search through it. But the API is either give all the data or a specific country. So the roundabout way I can do is that that is what I think currently, that I will just fetch all the data and store it somewhere. Then when user is searching like little keywords, then I will map through. Then I will go through those data, and according to that I will show the result. If suppose let's say user finds but there is also the case, if I'm going to use this, then how can I handle the error part as well? For example, a user are eccentrics, so what I can say is that they can type almost anything in the search boxes, and to prevent that happening, I will say that inside the then catch, and let's say let's say uh, let's say my mind is completely blank at this point. I wonder if I can use Codex for that. Let's see. Let's give it a try. I just downloaded yesterday, like previous week, but I haven't used it. So let's do this. So I want this to load on an immediate pages when the first render is starting. Let's see. What they want to do is let's actually write this. So as per my app.jsx file, I have some code there fetching entries data from third party API, in which my task is that when user type key character inside the search box, then show the listing of countries. If the result is back like let's say more than 10, then I am to show the response like this. What is this? Too many matches, specify another filter. Too many matches, specify another filter. The data from the particular country search API is look like this. Let's say if I say Finland, India. So currently I am stuck on how to do this. So what I came up with is that I will use all endpoint point to get the data and store it in my state where or somewhere. I don't know specifically. Then when user searches anything, I will just go through this whole data and show the particular countries. Now, if the match is not more than 10, then I will list the countries' names, and when user hit the particular country name, then I'll be to show the specific fields from the data like a name, area, flag, and what other thing they were telling me to do is, let's see, languages, languages, etc. So currently I am stuck on how to handle it. Let's see how Codex is running here. Hmm. So let's see. But even I have one question that l- even if I go with that data, like for example, if I store somewhere in local storage or anything, then it is nothing more than too much work. But I'm going to retry the same reads directly. What is this? Do you want to allow reading your objects outside the sandbox so I can update in a place? Okay. Hmm. So now it's thinking, yeah? Let's see. Your instinct is exactly the right one here. Fetch all ones, store that array in state, and derive the visible matches from the current input. The bug in the current version is that country is doing two jobs. First, a search string, and then a country object. So React ends up chasing its own tail a bit. I would like to see thinking. Sure. Let's see. They are doing this. It's doing two jobs. To keep, I have created the component to keep the full API result in countries. Keep keep the object item separately in select country. So it fetches. Let's see. Hmm. So what it did, the main idea is country stores the full all response one, value stores what the user typed, filter filtered countries is data from countries plus value. The data. Let's see. Uh, hmm. I have a function country details in which I'm passing the country and a language. Generally, isn't this what I'm getting the data from? Country name, this, images RC, flag, this. Generally, it is for like showing the like response, right? So I have countries. I'm setting the initial as an empty array and selected countries is enough. Then in use effect, in the first run, I'm getting all the and setting set countries in response data. Now the filtered countries is equal to value. If a value is found, then countries dot filter country moves value to lowercase. Will lowercase this and handle change, set selected country to null and show country to country, set value to country name dot common. So let's see uh, how it's working now. Written. So if I say show, okay, okay, it actually did the job quite right. But you know what? I'm not still like happy with this because since I used AI to help it out, my own thinking got like I'm not able to code this. So let's see. What I would like to do is copy this and and put this in this file. And what I would like to do is so this use effect. Hmm. Inside the state variable, I stored all the data. Then for searching part, what I did is, let's say the initial value is empty. So let me pull the return part here. Find countries, input value, on change, handle change. So inside my handle change, I'm getting the value and set selected country to null. For filtered countries, let's say selected countries. If selected countries found, then I would like to call. Hmm. Okay, so let's see. I would like to do this on my own. So I have reverted back, and I am like going to end my stream right here. Stop it because let's see. I would like to see for myself if I'm able to capable of doing that, and rather than doing alone myself, I will do it in tomorrow, like in my next stream. So yeah, I'm ending my stream right here, right now. So we can work on this together in our next stream. Okay, thanks for bearing with me all the time. Let's see, this is really a fun project, and I don't want to just use AI to do all the heavy lifting work for me. I would like to do a heavy lift sometimes, time to time myself. At least the logic part is clear that how I want to do the job. But let's say since I am initial a newbie to React applications or front-end development, I would like to do it by hand myself. So we will do it in tomorrow's stream. So till then, happy coding and peace.